design. I love it. And then on the other side is a bad, bad value proposition. So I recommend these two books. It gets quite. It's a lot of technicalities. You may not so that's where the struggle is for people, is that there's a lot of technical lingo, technical drawing, because I also have a background in design thinking. See, I'm letting my business. I hope the TMI too much information. I'm putting all my business out there. So I've been trained in design thinking. So if you know design thinking, you understand you're going to appreciate these types of drawing, right? So that this is the world. This is behind the scene of Nazaru. This is what Toyin does, because a lot of times people see, oh, Nazaru trade with Africa, and they're like, wow, when did you start? You're going so fast. It's because I'm applying business optimization. Anyway, so what I found is that these books are advanced. So if you don't have that appetite for those type of things, right, it may be too much. It's an overkill because it's a lot. You have to have the mind and brain for consuming. My first degree is mathematics. So again, I'm putting my business out there. I'm putting everything out there. BSc mathematics, MSc information systems. Okay, let's come back to today. So what I did was, I haven't studied it all. I now designed my own 6 step, because I realized people go all over the place. So I now have a systemized like flow of step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, and I keep optimizing it to get it better as I use it, getting feedback. It works, and then that's what I do. So Toyin just took you behind the scene, right? Okay. So being clear of your stakeholders, and one of your stakeholders is your customer. What are their pain points? Like in one-on-ones, we write it out, because we're going to use all of that in your marketing, right? That's where you get the right words you're going to put on your website, because there's nothing worse than having a website that is made for you. Like, I do this, I do that. Who cares about who you, right? But the language on your website has to convert, and it has to mean something to your customer. So that's why in my processes, we actually go deep dive. And then when we extract the right language, like what are their pain points, you can then use it in your marketing lingo. Like, are you doing this? Are you doing that? If so, contact us, right? This thing is it's a science project, right? You want to optimize your messaging to them, really based on your deep understanding of their pain points, of their fears, of their aspirations, meaning what are they trying to achieve. So for example, the foundational entrepreneurship. So I teach 3 classes: entrepreneurship, export, trade and investment facilitation. Trade and investment is for government relations, investor relations, right? And then export is for those who want to export. At the foundation, at the base, is entrepreneurship. Okay. So what I found is that entrepreneurs struggle with optimization or improving on their processes, or even a lot of people don't even have processes like I'm talking about. Why? They are involved in activities, but they've not built the right structure and intake process and marketing process or sales process for themselves, right? They're doing what everybody's doing, but they don't have a strategy to tell them, why are you doing that? Does it really make sense for your sector, for these people you're trying to serve? So, for example, at Nazaru, like I was saying before, we served 3 groups of people. At the highest level of those we serve are what I call the penthouse people. If you've watched me, you've heard me say this before, like executives, government, policy leaders, right? Top of the house. What we do for them looks different. How we engage them looks different. The services and the things we do for them, because their needs are different. Then middle managers or decision makers at the middle, meaning buyers, all of that. What we do for them is different. How we engage them is different. And then, like small businesses also fall. So large businesses sits at the top as well. Fortune 500 companies, CEOs, we engage with them at a certain level. When I'm hosting events, they're usually our speakers and all of that. So anyway, so we have clarity in terms of who they are, how we can engage with them, um, how we can partner, all of that. The middle as well, we have programs for them, connections, all of those things. And then at the base of the pyramid, really, are what I would call struggling entrepreneurs who want to move up to the next level. And we have a lot of solutions for them, all of that, right? But what we offer them looks different. Like the middle would likely attend my events because they want to get closer to executives, right? So they want access to the government officials. So the people in the middle, what they need really, a lot of times, maybe SMEs, their connections, right? Because they may already have experience having run businesses for say 15, 20 years. So their businesses are already successful. So what they want is really getting close to certain key stakeholders, right? But the people at the base, they are not ready. I'll be honest with you, they are not ready. They're not ready. So how do we help them get ready? So my courses, my programs, my coaching really is helping people get ready because we all have aspirations. I tell you, and your aspiration is valid. Our aspirations are valid, right? But I want to become a doctor. What do I need to become a doctor? Two different things. We have aspirations, but the question is, what do I need to do to get closer to my aspirations, right? So as entrepreneurs, what we're doing is helping our customers or clients to achieve their goals. So at the end of the day, it's not really about me, right? If I'm not adding value, if my services do not add value to you, you move on to the next person. But people come to us for because we're adding value, we're contributing, right? So that's what I want to say. The mindset of an entrepreneur, you need to understand who you want to serve. You need to understand what journey they're on, what are their aspirations, right? And then finally, looking at time, finally, what I want to say as well is when I teach this particular space, one thing that I also use that helps people really grasp it is what I'm about to say right now. So if you don't even remember anything I said before, remember what I'm about to say now. Think of yourself as a pharmaceutical company, Pfizer, whatever, right? Think of yourself, if you're an entrepreneur, as the Pfizer, right? And it may take years of research to come up with one drug, one service, one product. But guess what? The efficacy of your drug, it has to work and it has to be targeted to a disease or a pain point. Think about this again. You're at Pfizer, years of research of developing your product, whether it's lipstick, yay, I have lipstick. It takes time to do all of these things, right? Yay, I have services, I can do ABC. It took time to design my, remember my book. It took time to study. It took time to figure out what, first of all, I solved this for myself. Okay. Like I'm building Nazaru, right? We can't just say Nazaru. But Nazaru has to mean something for people, right? When I say trade, and I have various brands that I manage, right? So Trade with Africa Network, Trade with Africa Summit, AFCFT Roundtable. It has to mean something. Nobody is coming to. I know people say you're not coming to see my face. You're coming to achieve your own goals. So along that line, in a very humbling way, I've had to design solutions for you. So solving this first for myself, and now also helping other people to solve it. So again, think of yourself as a pharmaceutical company. Your goal is to design a service or a product that addresses a specific need, that removes the pain, right? So there's a disease or something people are facing. Your product or your service has to match. And guess what? The patient has to say, oh, that was a big relief. Oh, Toyin, that's what I needed to hear. Oh, Toyin, you've changed my mind about this. Oh, Toyin, you solved this for me. Oh, wow, that strategy you gave me was exactly what I needed. Now I have direction. Now I know what I need to do, right? Those are the feedbacks, right, that you want to hear. Because if you test your medication or your vaccine and it doesn't work, go back to the drawing board and figure it out. So that's why I said this is the way I try to make people see that your solution must address a concern, and your patients in a way must agree when they taste it or when they try it out that it actually targets and addresses what it is it addresses, right? Also think of yourself as a medical doctor prescribing that medication every single day, right? But it does take years to really get close to your customer. So the question is, how well do you know your customer? That's my question for today. Have you gotten close to them? Have you listened to them? Do you know what they're going through? Looking at the way the world is right now, COVID, all of that, people are really struggling, right? Are you applying empathy? And does your solution get them closer to where they're going? Does your service, inspire them to keep moving forward, what do you have to be contributing something, right, for people to pay you for it. So for me, the coaching practice was developed. I never knew I was going to be a coach, right? But once you figure all these things out, one of my friends said, Tony, it's going to be a crime if you don't share it. I'm like, okay, we have to package it in such a way. So it is a commercial um, function right now. So we operate 4 pillars. So one of the pillar is training, capacity building and coaching, right? And then we have events and all of those things. So I had to develop this practice because there's a huge need. Because when people come to us and I see, when I confront some of the things they're doing and I ask some basic question and I see that they're struggling, I'm like, okay, this has to be almost, I have to just bring this together because the knowledge I have is something that the community seriously need. So I have courses, and then I've launched the Entrepreneurship Academy and all of that. So that's really how I show up. Again, with my background, it's always understanding your clients, understanding your customers, knowing their journey. And then, if you have within yourself a solution that can help them, then how do you package it? How do you build a business model, right? So all the things I'm talking about, it's not about charity, right? So this is a commercial venture, this is a business. But in order for you to build a business, you need to also know your customers, right? So again, that's it in a wrap. I want to keep this short, but I know I usually pack a punch in a moment, right? So reach out if you do need that level of deep dive, either one-on-one or you want to take any of my courses. Again, I have 6 steps I just shared today, parts of step 2, a little bit of step 3, because there's also value proposition, all of those things, business model, all of that. But I start from 1 and in a systematic way. So for me, it has to be logical. Like all of these things has to be repeatable, right? So when the market changes, if you have the skill set to fish, you can keep on fishing, right? But if you don't have the skills, you're going to struggle. So for me, I want to empower people to get the skills so that anything you need to do, you can apply this. So that's why for me, I know one of my friends said, Tony, we're always seeing you doing one thing or the other, right? It's easy for me to launch new products, new services, new brands because there's a framework that I use. So that's another secret is that I'm constantly launching something, masterclasses, workshops, events, brands, products. Yeah, constantly. Why? Because it's repeatable. These frameworks are repeatable. Once you understand the framework, then you can adjust your business, you can optimize. I can wake up to so tomorrow I can wake up and I say I want to do something else. There's a framework, I'll take it through. Next year, whatever God wants me to do, I can, yeah. So anyway, that's why these frameworks are important. So if you're interested and you want to know more, learn more, and you want my help to guide you to be your coach, happy to. Like right now, you can find Toy in a moment, some months, you'll be like, no, Toy is not available. Go and buy a book or go and, anyway, that's what this is going. That's where I'm going, right? Because I'm also, for me, entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. So there is a lifestyle I want to live, and everything I'm doing today, like it looks like crazy, right? A lot of intensities because I'm building that lifestyle.